In Chapter 6, we're going to learn all about percents. 6.1, we're just going to do basically converting decimals to percents, percents to decimals, fractions to decimals, fractions to percents, percents to fractions, just basically converting from one to another. So if you have a decimal or even a whole number with a decimal or without, just a number to a percent, what you're going to need to do is, let me get rid of this because it's confusing. So what you're going to do is just move the decimal 2 places to the right. Move the decimal 2 places to the right, or what you're doing is multiplying by 100. So if you just have a number and you want to move it, change it to a percent, you're going to multiply by 100, or just make it easy and move the decimal to the right 2 places. If going backwards, you want to go to a percent to a number or a decimal. It can be a whole number or a decimal. You're going to move the decimal 2 places to the left, or divide by 100. So I'll do a few examples here. Let's say we have 0.53 and we want to move it to a percentage. All we're going to do is move the decimal 2 spots, and it's 53%. If we have 1.32 and we want to move it to a percent, we go 2 spots, and it's 132%. So if you have a number in front of a decimal or just a whole number, that's going to be over 100%. So here it's 100% plus 32%, and you get 132. If you had something like 7, then it's 7, and move the decimal 2 spots, so 2, and it's 700%. So all whole numbers are over 100%. Anything after the decimal is under 100%. Okay, so going backwards, let's say we have 15%. We want to do this to a decimal. So we're going to move it over 2 places, 1, 2, and get 0.15. Another way to do this is whatever you have as a percent, you're dividing by 100. So 15 over 100. Anytime you see percent, usually write it as the number over 100 in your calculations. And we'll see some of those in a future section. And this would be 0.15. If we had something like 0.01%, again, we're going to want to move it, the decimal, over 2 spots. So 1, 2, put the decimal, put zeros over each loop. So this now is going to equal 0.0001. Again, 0.01% equals 0.0001 because we moved the decimal 2 spots to the left. Or we could have just said 0.01 over 100. And remember when we did this, when we had a decimal in a fraction, we don't want decimals, so we move them over, and that's 2 spots. So that means we had to add 2 zeros here. And so 1 divided by 10,000 equals 0.0001. Okay, so Next, let's say we have fractions. If we have a fraction and we want to move it to a decimal, remember, we just divide it. Now, so do that same thing. So with a fraction, divide to get a decimal. And then convert to a percentage. So if we had 1 over 25, when we divide 1 by 25, we're going to get 0.04. And when we move that 2 spots, 1, 2, we get 4%. Let's say we have 2 over 9. So when we divide that, 9 into 2, 0.000. I'll just go that far. 9 goes into 20 2 times. 2 times 9 is 18. 2 remaining. 2, 18 with 2, 0, 2. So it's 0.222. Move the decimal 2 spots and we get 22.2%. A lot of them are going to say to do the 10th or 1 decimal place. So let's go backwards now. Let's do one where we have 1/5%. And we want to change that to a let's just go to a decimal. So the first thing we want to do is divide this out. Go 5 into, and this is going to a decimal. So 5 into 1, it's 0.0. So it's going to go 0.2 times. So it's actually 0.2%. So that means we need to move the decimal 2 spots over to the left to get to a decimal. 1, 2. And it's 0.002. So if you have a fraction as your percent, it's going to be a really small decimal that you have here. Now, then if it says to move it to, or change it to a fraction, you're going to have, we have 2 over 1, and there's 1, 2, 3 spots. So when we simplify this, we're going to get 1 over 500. And that is pretty much it for section 6.1. It's basically just going from one form, either decimal, fraction, or percent, to one of the others, decimal, fraction, or percent.